California. Black college student was threatened by a racist classmate, and the response for remedy is for the black student to leave. Put it at full mass. Hell of a thing. California student recounted how his freshman experience at a private Catholic college was marred by a number of troubling racist incidents that the school and the local police are now investigating as hate crimes. The student, who only wants to be identified as David, started attending St. Mary's College of California. This is in the Bay Area. He started there last fall. But the spring semester, he was texting his parents asking if he could come home more often. He told them that other students had been standing outside his dorm, shouting profanities and racial slurs, including the N-word. He even recorded part of one outburst while he stood inside of his room. Quote, let's imagine for a moment that is your child behind that door, hearing, kill the N-word. David's father, James Brickley, said, imagine how he felt, his fear, end quote. David reported the incident to the resident assistants and campus advisors. This is the protocol. This is what you're supposed to do. But said they took little action to address the issue. Quote, I was promised things were going to change, David said. Nothing happened. One day, things escalated. When he went to the communal bathroom on his dorm floor and saw the threat, quote, kill N-words carved on the outside, on the inside of the bathroom door, he says this, quote, I remember I was rushing to my computer science class. David said, I was just using the restroom, looked up, and there it was, clear as day, written in the restroom. It was almost surreal for me, okay? How do you expect anybody to learn in that kind of environment? These are not simply places of academic instruction. They are places where you learn who you are socially, you learn who you are spiritually, you learn who you are morally, ethically. How can you learn in an environment that is that aggressive against you, against your being? After a similar racial threat was discovered in another dorm bathroom, the university decided to issue a campus-wide alert warning students, staff, and faculty of, quote, a hate crime involving property damage, threatening language, and racial slurs written into restrooms. So the local police are now investigating the incidents as hate crimes. Quote, I find myself being at home and indoors more and more, David said, because I don't feel safe on campus. The big question is, why are they not going directly after the individuals who taunted him, who said racial slurs against him? I'm sure the campus has cameras. What did the cameras expose? Sending out a general email or alert sounds to me, no disrespect, St. Mary's, like you're covering your ass from liability, negligent retention lawsuits, etc. So after learning of the campus response, David's parents set up a meeting with the school's president, Roger Thompson. All right. But they were shocked when they heard Roger's advice. Quote, he said, we should think about moving David out of the school. David's mother, Tia Honeycutt, said, quote, that was his response to a toxic culture, was to have David leave and let the toxic culture persist. That was his solution to a hate crime, end quote. Yeah. That's the reason why the culture persists now, because Leadership chose not to lead. They had no stomach for it. They may even agree with it based on the context of his statement. Yeah. A university spokesperson told KGO that the president offered David the option to move to a different dorm and also, quote, express understanding should the parents wish for their student to transfer. I see what you did there, Raj. David declined to move dorms or withdraw from the school. Quote, why aren't the perpetrators in these crimes the ones that are kicked out of school? Brickley said, make it safer and happier. Make it a safer and happier environment for everybody, end quote. So in a statement, St. Mary said that school officials are working to address the incidents with mandatory resident hall meetings, additional campus patrols, more resources to support students, and efforts to raise awareness of bias response and reporting mechanisms. I think they are well aware of bias. That's why they're being biased. If you're at an institution, you don't understand what bias is at this point. Why are you at that institution? Of course they understand bias. All right, so when asked about the statement, Tia Honeycutt said, quote, I think that's a beautiful, very lawyerly statement they've crafted, but I heard nothing concrete in terms of what steps they are actually taking. David's parents, the school's actions are not enough. They're demanding that the college enforce a zero tolerance policy for racism. It's sad we even have to tell a college to do that. Mandate anti-bias training for students and provide better support for victims. However, the school has not responded to their demands or email communication for several weeks. They said the last email they received from university officials was April 4th. School officials and local police have yet to locate, identify, arrest, or discipline the culprits responsible for the hate incidents. All right, to the family, very sorry that you all are going through this. To the young man who's experiencing this, just understand that you are stronger than you can ever imagine. And this is about their smallness and has nothing to do with you. But you are going to educate them just as you have been doing. You are a fighter and you will remain a fighter. To the entire family, that institution has an accreditation. That accreditation is bound to only accredited institutions that follow a particular anti-discriminatory framework. I would highly recommend you sue them on those grounds. Just my recommendation. That'll get their attention. All right, Sharon, thoughts?
Yeah, well said. I second what your sentiments to the family. It's just not acceptable. You know, I think the lawsuit's more than appropriate. I think the school does have to take action immediately, at least have racist and non-racist dorms. So we can at least, you know, at least let the kids choose, you know, how they want to until they can clean this up. But it's really not that difficult. Okay. And I like the mother, Miss Honeycutt, clock their T, lawyerly statement. Okay. You just don't be racist. We don't need to have all the, why do I have to be obligated to go to the session and learn about empathy? It really sounds like empathy for racists. The school, you said, sent the letter on April 4th. They should have sent that letter on April Fool's Day because it was a foolish thing to even push out there. Fools.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up. I think the parents have done everything they could to be patient, trying to have meetings, et cetera. The student, obviously, my goodness, how do you become an academic champion in such an oppressive environment? But God bless you, young man, for being a true leader.